All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate you taking time to learn a little bit more about our futures program and the plan for 25, 26. It's kind of crazy to be thinking about it that way, but I think that's for the best, honestly. And yeah, I guess the main thing I wanted to do was have a sort of forum for parents to ask questions. I know not everything can be clear via email on what we're doing and what the plans are. So that's the main point, honestly, is questions. I'll give a little short spiel. I'll let Timmy say anything if he's got something. And then yeah, just open it up for questions. You can type questions into the chat if you want, and then I'll read them out um, and answer them, or we can you can unmute whichever you're more comfortable with. So yeah, futures 25, 26. We're headed into fall season for that. Um, the plan is for fall to sort of lay the groundwork for spring and summer of next year, so the 26 season. I think the main questions to address are commitments. I guess I tried to make it clear via the email, and I'm not sure how clear it was. Um, The commitment is mostly just that when we have competitions, players are committed to being at those competitions. And in the fall, that'll be more flexible. In the spring, that'll be less flexible. And I understand that can potentially present a problem because the spring is more busy for players that are playing indoor club volleyball. Um, and now it is becoming a more busy time for beach volleyball players as well. The Power League competitions in the fall are great, and they are a little more informal. They're with Aloha, Precision, and Bodie Beach, so other beach volleyball clubs from Northern California. Um, and yeah, it's awesome to have that. We'll potentially continue that in spring as much as we can, but spring is when we'll have our qualifier tournaments. And essentially, the goal for ideally we'll have 12 players committed, is to qualify one team, so six players, for junior nationals, BVCA 2026 nationals for futures. So that's this 14 and under age group, graduation years 20, 30, 31, 32, etc. Um, so the other thing to note and talk about is for these players, we want everyone to get as much exposure as possible. So there might be some rotation with who's attending the different Power League dates. And ideally, we'll have 12 players, and we'll take all 12 to the first qualifier in Huntington Beach in December, early December. I think it's the 5th and 6th. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure. Um, sorry, 6th and 7th. That's a Saturday and Sunday. Um, and then there will be a qualifier in late January, most likely January 24th and 25th here in Santa Cruz at Main Beach. So that's great. And then we will very likely attend one in Sacramento. Um, that date is to be determined. SC Beach is planning to host one in the spring as well. So we're trying to minimize the amount of travel. In the past, it's been one Santa Cruz tournament, and then all the qualifier tournaments are in LA area, or maybe one in Fresno at Shore Break. So that's really cool that potentially we can do all our qualifiers around here. Besides, the Huntington Beach one will also be good to sort of start to get a feel of the level. That said, ideally we'll take two squads, so 12 players to most of the qualifiers. There's some flexibility there as well. Um, and uh, the likelihood is that we would only qualify one team for BBCA Nationals, one squad, so six players would get invited. The six players that don't get invited to BBCA would then get invited to AAU has a Club v Club the next week, and that's open registration. So then we can um, put a squad into that. We could even do two squads. But really the idea is to expose as many players as possible to high level beach volleyball competition. Um, yeah, sort of at this age to so that they can then decide, the players get to decide, oh, this is something that I'm really interested in, or actually no, this is not for me. I don't love the travel part of it. I don't love, there's different aspects of it that you might not love, and that's perfectly okay. But yeah, it's preparing them for um, the high school ages, where those tournaments are similarly structured and very competitive, and yeah, the level is very high. Um, uh, Commitment. Yeah. What I am still trying to emphasize is flexibility. We really encourage multi-sport, honestly, all the way through high school. I have read a lot of the research, and that multi-sport is the best for young athletes. I fully believe in it. I'm fully committed to that. We fully want to be flexible as much as possible, for athletes to be playing multiple sports, playing all their sports, playing for their school teams, for basketball, indoor volleyball, soccer, whatever that is. That said, beach volleyball is just hard. It's a really hard sport. It's only two players on a big court. It's hard to run around on the sand. There's wind a lot of the times. There can be sun. So we really find that if a player takes time off of the beach, it takes them a while to reacclimate. Um, that means that there's some flexibility in practicing 1 day a week or 2 days a week. Ideally, it's two. We really don't want the demands to be super, super high. They're young athletes, young players, hopefully with diverse interests, becoming people as well as athletes. Um, and at the same time, uh, yeah, it's just the players that don't play beach volleyball a lot tend to get left behind. It's just sort of the reality of this sport. It's just too hard. Um, that said, it's a little more forgiving than indoor. Indoor, I feel like the schedules are very packed, and you're jumping on hard wood or a hard surface all the time. You're hitting the ball hard all the time, um, and so there's breakdowns and injuries. And yeah, it's concerning. Year-round indoor volleyball concerns me, from a health standpoint. Beach volleyball, I haven't seen it as much. It can be an issue. It's definitely something that we want to help athletes learn about and protect them, and we're talking about different ways to um, include some fitness and maintenance of bodies, and I'm hoping to bring in some arm swing experts during the fall, to run a clinic for us, so that players and parents and coaches can get educated on the best ways to protect shoulders and arm swings and legs and knees and all those things. Um, so, I mean, I guess what we're looking for from futures players is, again, commitment to being at the competitions. Um, and if they cannot be at the competitions, um, letting us know as soon as possible. We do have an advanced group, so we can bring players in, so there's some flexibility. Um, the main idea is that players start to understand doing a lot of things and having some priorities. So the priority, if you're on the futures squad, is beach volleyball competitions, one, especially those qualifier competitions. And like I said, letting us know if for some reason you can't attend something like that. And then maybe beach volleyball practices, um, other sports that they're doing, those competitions maybe can be equal to beach volleyball competitions, some sort of equality in there, and then other sport practices somewhere in there. Um, what else? Um, Yeah, for anyone that's trying to do main beach indoor club volleyball, I know Brandon well, the director, and Jan, the other directors. So in the past we've worked together, not like fully together on schedules, but once I have schedules for certain players, like, or, for this group, and if that group wants to also do indoor club, I'm happy to call Brandon or text him and say, hey, we're planning to practice these days. These players also want to play indoor. Um, can you try to schedule the practices for those kids on other days or after our practices? Because most of our practices are daytime practices. We are working on lights and potential night practices, but ideally we want daytime practices. What else? Cost. Yeah, I think the other thing that we might be running into a little bit is I understand that indoor volleyball is a big time commitment and a big cost commitment. It's very expensive. So, I completely understand if parents are reluctant to pay that much money for indoor club volleyball and then be missing practices and missing competitions. I think there's enough flexibility that they wouldn't miss a lot of competitions, but I just don't know without knowing the beach volleyball schedule and the indoor volleyball schedule. It sounds like there's not much conflict for the fall. I've talked to a couple parents, and sounds like that will be pretty easy to navigate. So that's promising. Um, School indoor volleyball, I know, is a priority for a lot of players. Last year we took a break during school indoor volleyball. I don't think we'll fully take a break, but we would probably pare down to one practice a week. It's School indoor volleyball was 6 or 8 weeks or something. It was a pretty short season. Um, Potentially good for players to get a little bit of a break from the beach. And it was late January, most of February, and like pretty much ran right up and around when the time changes and we can get back to sort of normal practice times anyway. So it worked out well and was fairly convenient. The other thing on the cost side is we do have a donor coming in or joining SC Beach to help with travel costs, as that's been an issue in the past. Um, what that's going to look like is the BBCA qualifier tournaments and some of or all the other tournaments can start to get expensive. So SC Beach will be covering the registration costs for those tournaments and coaching costs. So in the past, there's been the $900, for example, for fall, plus $300 if you end up attending the BBCA Huntington Beach for registration. Um, to the tournament and covering, coaches' flight and hotel or drive and hotel or whatever and per diem and paying them to be there. So that's all going to be covered. So essentially the costs are going to be example $900 for fall. We'll probably do an 8 week session in spring. So that'll be another about $900, maybe a little less because I think we'll have a few less practices, usually an 8 week season. Um, so, yeah, we're working to bring the costs down and try to keep it reasonable as best we can. And luckily we have a donor that's on board to help with that, and that's really cool. Um, so mostly, yeah, futures players will be paying for practices and then for uniforms. That said, one of the conditions to receive these payments for tournament registrations and travel costs being paid for is that players are going to have to be SC Beach exclusive athletes. And what that means is just not training beach volleyball with another club, not competing with other clubs for at beach volleyball tournaments, and that kind of thing. Wearing the gear a little more, that's hard to enforce. But at BVCAs, we are required to wear uniforms, and yeah, at the other tournaments, we're trying to make sure um, everybody has a lot of uniform options so that they're happy and comfortable wearing SC Beach gear at the tournaments. Um, Anything that I'm not covering, Timmy, that I think I need to cover? Anything you got to add to this?
No, I think we should have some time for the parents to chime in if they have any questions. But you can cover most of it.
Yeah. Somebody just entered the waiting room. Admit. So just to reiterate, definitely want to encourage players to play lots of other sports. Basketball, soccer, indoor volleyball, baseball, softball, you name it, track and field. Super happy for players to be doing that, exploring lots of sports. We'll try to make it work as best we can. And we'd like players to be attending most of and all practices that they can, most and all competitions that they can, and if they can't, letting us know, especially for the competitions well in advance, so we can figure out alternatives and or say, hey, like this is an important competition. Can you please skip whatever else you have going on? Yeah, with that said, I'll open it up to questions. Like I said, if you want to put it in the chat so it's a little more anonymous, that's fine. I don't think that's recorded. I don't actually know. Or if you want to unmute and ask a question, um, that's also great. Yeah, whatever people feel comfortable with. I guess if everything's clear, then I don't know. Yeah. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? All right. I'm not. Oh, okay. All right. Question is, I believe the tryouts for Main Beach are during the tournament in October. That'll be a tough tournament for those doing Main Beach. Thoughts? Yeah. So I know it's very likely that we can move that tournament to the Sunday. I think it's scheduled for Saturday. Um, Let me just look at my calendar real quick. Scheduled for Saturday the 11th. I'm pretty sure I can just text the other club directors and say, hey, we need to do the 12th, and that will be fine. That said, if for some reason we can't move that, that is probably a great opportunity for us to give opportunities to the advanced groups and the other groups to get the turn. We want to get everybody tournament experience. So there'll be that tournament will either be moved to the 12th on Sunday or will it'll be a flexible to attend tournament, and we'll try to make sure we just get players that want to go. That's a good question. Um, that said, yeah, I'll probably try to move it to the 12th because that it'll be a tournament that will, a lot of players will be trying out for main beach, I assume, throughout the groups. So, um, any other questions? Um, can uh, I'll give another moment for anyone to type anything or something like that. I think something else that I would like to reiterate, and I think Coach Timmy has said this at times. I mean, I've heard him say it. Is just we also want um, the players to drive this decision. I think everybody's doing a great job of that. I'm not that concerned about it. I just want to make sure I'm reiterating it, right? Definitely don't want to pressure them into something that they don't want to do. We want them to want to play beach volleyball, be happy playing beach volleyball, be happy coming to practices and being at the competitions. So, um, and that said, I think this can be good learning opportunities for players about, just decision making. I know I face decisions all the time, and I sometimes can hem and haw because all the options sound really good to me, and I want to be able to do everything. And at the end of the day, you got to just make a decision, and it can get changed at times or whatever. But uh, yeah, hopefully they're enjoying beach volleyball and want to play. That's a great question. So the question is when does the schedule for the spring tournaments come out? I'm not sure. I know that BVCA is trying to get it out as soon as possible. They understand that one of the issues that beach club directors are having is that indoor clubs just have their schedule and it's set up almost now already. And so beach directors, as beach is growing, just really needs the schedule to be out sooner. So I think it'll be out soon. I know the fall schedule was due by the end of July, so I think the fall is all done. And spring. I talked to Jeff, but I can't remember what he said. Hopefully by the end of August, I think. That said, you know, I, I can work with the precision director who's going to host in Sacramento and figure out a date that works for us, them, a few of the other NorCal teams, and we can sort of just have not our own private tournament, but sort of schedule it the way we want to schedule it, and in a way that works for majority of our players. And that's what we're going to do as well when we decide to host one in the spring. So, um, now that we're going to be hosting and Precision is going to be hosting and probably can do similar with Shore Break in the Fresno area. Um, we can sort of dictate our schedule a little bit. It would be great to go to a late May tournament down in LA just to put in some final preparations for July BVCA. But that probably won't be necessary. That'll be more of like a yeah, let's do it because we want to go, play against the top players in Southern California. Um, and then for July, that the BVCA will be both the last 2 years it's been the 7th through the 11th or 12th or something like that. It's pretty much that first week after 4th of July. Um, and then AAU is usually the week right after that. So um, yeah, and then there's a pairs tournament for AVP toward the end of July that players really like to attend as well. Those require qualifications. That's gonna be a little bit separate from um, playing with SC Beach, but we'll have SC Beach coaches there and stuff. You can still represent SC Beach. It's just the qualification is a little different, and that will probably be a whole nother Zoom in the spring as we try to help players prepare for qualifying for that if that's one of their goals. Um, Sweet. Well, I appreciate everyone's time and energy. Hopefully not too late on a Wednesday evening. I'll give a last moment or two for questions if anybody's got any, and give Coach Timmy the floor for a moment if he has anything to say. You got anything, Timmy, or
No,
um,
I think you covered it. I think another thing to think about or talk with your kids about. Sorry for the background noise. Um, is we're trying to get them ready for tournaments. So it's going to be fun, but we want to get a little bit more technical, a little bit more thinking, high, like IQ, high IQ plays and stuff like that. So I think Ivan and I have been talking about it the last couple of days and where we want to take them for the next year. And that part of that commitment is our commitment to trying to get them ready for the tournaments by good decision making while having fun and trying to get them to the next level. I've had the pleasure of working with most of your kids the last year, and they've made great strides, and I'm really excited to work with them for another year and see them, start to dominate tournaments, hopefully locally as well as down in LA. So really excited about it, but I just want you to start to think about that and make sure that with your kids too that they're ready to make that commitment and really work hard with us so that we can get them to the next step while and also have fun along the process. That's all I got.
Thank you, Coach Timmy. Yeah, well said. Yeah, Timmy's great. Players are making a ton of progress. It's really awesome. And yeah, I mean everybody is 2030 or 2031 in this group. So a huge opportunity to, a lot of players have been playing tournaments already this summer. So a huge opportunity to go into next summer as um, the older age on that tournament scale, right? Because it's a 2 year window. And yeah, really, really perform well. And we like to have no expectations, but just do take the things we learn from the year and use that to perform at a high level. There's a lot of high level volleyball in Southern California, so that'll be cool too. To really, really compete against. I mean, at BVCA Nationals, it's the best teams from Arizona, Texas, Florida, Oregon, all over the country, Colorado. There's some really good programs, Ohio. So it is a really cool event, and it really is the top of the top of the top, and that's really cool. I know for indoor, it's such a big thing that I don't think everybody always gets to compete at the absolute highest level. And it's really cool that we can just go to LA, not Orlando or Dallas or wherever, and really be able to compete with, the best athletes in beach volleyball from all over the country. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool opportunity. So maybe let your players know that. And yeah, we hope they are as excited as we are. I know Coach Timmy is excited. I'm excited. I think we're gonna have a great year. Um, thanks everybody. We'll see you soon on the beach. I'll stop the recording.